Hello everybody, Nicki Minaj's other cousin's friend here. Not the big balls one, but just in case you were living under a rock for the past 3 days, Trinidad hit international news again. And no, it's not because of social justice movements, it's not because of crime, and it's definitely not another case of corruption.
How much money did you make selling World Cup tickets this year?
Ask him whether.
It's because Nicki Minaj's cousin's brother, tanty, uncle, nephew, friend get the vaccine and now his balls drop out. And you know, we here in Trinidad looking for any excuse not to take the vaccine. So essentially, there's a Twitter post made by Nicki Minaj where her cousin's friend got the vaccine, then his testicles became swollen, and then he became impotent. This led to his wedding being cancelled. Now, that's very sad to hear, but is that true? As a medical professional and a citizen of Trinidad and Tobago, I've never heard of such a case in Trinidad. Trust me when I say there's a huge population of Trinidadians that is anti-vax. And this would have hit big in the news. Also, most of these local anti-vaxxers get their information from TikTok videos and hearsay rather than actual medical journals, statistics, or any other credible sources. They are the true scientists of Trinidad and Tobago. This is why, from my small-minded, limited point of view as a doctor, I try so hard to make my information and my sources very available for all Trinidadians. Now getting back to business, I could only assume that Nicki Minaj is being misled by one of these very misinformed Trinidadians. If not, either one of them are lying to fit their own agenda, considering that Nicki Minaj herself is not vaccinated. The reason I say that is because Nicki Minaj always pushes a sort of agenda when referring to Trinidad, claiming that her cousin and her family here don't even have access to Instagram. I find that extremely hard to believe. Trinidad has an oil-based economy and is extremely developed with many services and infrastructure available for free, with most households having smart devices with internet capabilities and access to cheap internet cafes or even free Wi-Fi accessibility in many public locations. This is reminiscent of times when she inflates Trinidad's situation in the past. Since then, Nicki has been subject to merciless online bullying and attacks. Because I mean, someone's balls dropping off is not a very plausible side effect to begin with, and it has never been listed as a side effect globally, and it's mostly because she lacked the insight to do the minuscule research to see if it's true, little alone possible. I understand that Nicki's main issue was that she believes that vaccination should not be mandatory. However, it's not. It's voluntary. But just as you have the right to say, I don't want the vaccine, businesses have the right to say, oh, you aren't vaccinated? I don't want you to work in my business. It's for safety more than anything during this pandemic. As for the legitimacy of this claim, this prompted a swift investigation from the Trinidad and Tobago's Ministry of Health and a subsequent media release that has since gone viral. As you can see, my boy Terrence Deyalsingh coming out to address the world about some man balls. Man's getting interviews with Trevor Noah about some man balls. Imagine that. Even more audacious, Nicki Minaj's cousin and the friend and his balls never even come forward to prove anything. And yes, I agree with Mr. Deyalsingh that this was a huge waste of time. Or was it? Could this impotence be possible? Maybe the government is covering up a conspiracy. Maybe the vaccine is a form of population control and they all want us to take the vaccine and become impotent. Now I don't know about you, but I like my balls right where they are. But coming back to a serious standpoint, with my clinical experience, I can't figure out how bilateral testes could be affected by a vaccine without either triggering some sort of systemic immune response that affects the rest of the body too, and even if it was due to blood clots, that's two separate blood supplies for each testicle, right? The chances of losing both testes alone to blood clots is ridiculously low. But what do I know? I'm just a stupid doctor. And the ministry paying me to say all of this? I don't know about you, but I want that money. The most logical thing I can think about at this point is that her cousin's friend really did become impotent. It sounds like the guy had a bad case of orchitis, right? Which can be caused by STIs. And in typical Trinidadian fashion, he waited way too long to come into hospital. Now, there is the possibility that he had the vaccine, right? But the fact that he had the vaccine recently would only be a confounding variable. There are many examples of this in Trinidad alone. Now, Nicki Minaj probably realizes what she said was stupid. She should have done the research. But at the end of the day, let's just forget about this and live with life and everybody get vaccinated. And hopefully nobody balls drop off. Laters.